Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Ultimate Consumer Seminar. Allow me to introduce our speaker, Ryner Koh. Ryner's journey from a two-bedroom HDB rental flat to financial success is truly inspirational. Driven by a desire to escape poverty, he pursued financial literacy diligently. Ryner achieved top grades in all investment categories of the CFA Level 1 exam, earning him the prestigious FTC CFA scholarship to complete Level 2 and Level 3. For context, the CFA or Chartered Financial Analyst is a highly challenging credential with a passing rate below 50%. Ryder completed all three levels in a single sitting. Before his CFA achievements, Ryner graduated with honors in real estate management from NUS. He excelled in making complicated investment theories accessible and useful in everyday lives. His insights from data statistics are invaluable for prudent investment decisions. Ryner practiced what he preaches, evident in his success as a property owner and investor. His latest acquisition, a freehold semi-detached house in the east, will be rebuilt into a 3.5-story, 6,300 square feet home for his family, showcasing his real-life approach to asset progression planning. Ryner's expertise is widely recognized. He has appeared on CNA Money Mind and in Straits Time, Me and My Property section. His military background includes his commanding officer of an artillery battalion, head of operation at Division HQ, reflects his leadership and excellence. With Ryner's knowledge and practical insight, we are in for an enlightening seminar. Please join me in welcoming Ryner to the virtual stage. Ryner, over to you.
Thank you so much. Today, I'm very glad to see so many of you here. Before I start, if you're able to hear me, right, can you go to the chat box and then you type a 2 so that we want to make sure that you can hear me clearly. You go to the chat box, scroll down bar, there's everyone, so that we can learn together. You can just type a 2 so that it shows that I'm able to be heard. All right, thank you so much. Okay. So now let me pull out the slides. Okay, today's training sessions, or I call it a consumer webinar sessions, is 16 reasons why MEYER BLUE is the right choice. So very often when we want to invest in something, we want to make sure that we don't buy something that's emotional. So let's take a look at some latest statistic to help us guide through in this investment journey. So if you got time, we'll also be sharing a bonus 3 pointers in addition to the 16 compelling reasons. Okay, very preliminary draft information about MEYER BLUE. All right, it is a freehold. Walk to MRT. It's about 5 to 6 minutes walk, casual walk. For those who are able to walk faster, you may arrive at the MRT at about 4 to 5 minutes. Land size is about 97,000 square foot. There's going to be just one majestic tower. And there's only 226 freehold brand new units in this MEYER BLUE. In addition to walking distance to 2 MRT, it is also a very short 10 minutes drive to malls, I-12, Parkway Parades, Kallang Wave Mall, Kallang Leisure Park. It is also very close proximity to expressway, ECP towards the city, as well as ECP towards the airport. And within 2 clicks, there are many educational institutions. Okay, before we invest in a property, right, we want to ensure we can earn money. So how do we get some statistic to give us some confidence on that? So one useful factors that I use even for my own property investment is I want to look at the neighbors. So the assumption is if my neighbors are earning money, right, then chances is high that if the history repeats itself, the particular project investment that I'm investing in will likely yield the same result. So let's take a look at the the returns of this what we call the neighbors along MEYER BLUE. So if you recall, MEYER BLUE, right, is actually along MEYER Road. So now we are going to analyze all the neighbors along this MEYER Road. And we realize one interesting insight. That is that insight. In total, there's 11 neighbors along that MEYER Road. And interestingly, all achieve consistent result, which is a healthy return. So if this particular facts, okay, from the statistics, if this history repeat itself, chances is high that MEYER BLUE, okay, the data suggested would have an upside potential. So let's deep dive into this MEYER BLUE location. So as you can see from this particular MEYER BLUE, this is, if you can see my cursor here, my pointer, this is the MEYER Road, the very prestigious D15 address. And it's flanked by 3 parks, Katong Park, East Coast Park, and MEYER Park Playground just in front. All right. And let's take a look at let me shift the cursor up. And if you see the bubbles here from number 1, Belvedere, that is the first neighbor, the seafront on MEYER, the Atra at MEYER, Hawaii Tower, MEYER Mansion, and the subject itself, MEYER BLUE, the MEYER Rise, MEYER House, the Sovereign, the Makina, Peach Garden, as well as Alto. So the analysis is that we studied very deeply on all the neighbors. And this particular table speaks the summary. So the price growth since launch, right? All the 11 neighbors. I included the Amber Park because it's recently TOP, and it is also a D15 proxy project like MEYER BLUE as well. And all yield healthy returns. This is the CAGR, the compounded annual growth rate, and all yield very good, healthy returns. So as you can see from this age here, these are the age of the neighbors and the total number of units at the right hand column. If you look at this bar chart, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So like, for example, if you buy 1,000 square foot, okay, 1,000 square foot unit, how this bar chart is being read is, you yield a 1,000 times a 1,403 since launch. So if you were to launch, if you were to buy during preview, just like you might be considering buying a property, MEYER BLUE during a preview, if you hold till then you exit, would there be a capital appreciation? So you can see there's capital appreciation for all the neighbors. So this actually gives me the confidence that if I buy MEYER BLUE without emotion, if I don't buy speculatively, chances is high that if the history repeats itself, there will be upside potential. So this one particular data. And if you go to the line chart, the time series is from since launch until first quarter 2024. So it's very updated. First quarter 2024 now is May 2024. So the extracted data from first quarter 2024. So the Belvedere, you yield a 1,403 capital appreciation, a total growth rate of 177%. As you can see from my highlighter here. Second neighbor, 687, 43%. Third neighbor, 1,286 per square foot capital appreciation, 140% return. Hawaii Tower, 1,154, 182% return. MEYER Rise, 522, 28% return. Sovereign, 1,107 put. So if you imagine, which I mentioned, if you just buy a 1,000 square foot, you yield about 1,000 times 1,107 capital appreciation. That's close to about 1 million. 90% total growth rate return. The Makina, 889, 96% return. Let me shift the bar a little. Okay, the peach garden, 1278 per square foot capital appreciation, 226 growth rate return. Alto, also along that Meyer Road, the very last neighbor on the stretch of Meyer Road, 756 per square foot capital appreciation, 44% growth rate. So these are the time series from its launch. In this particular case, Alto is launched in 2007, exit in 1 quarter 2024. Meyer Mansion, 138, 5% return. Meyer House, $500 per square foot. Meyer House is on the other side, low floor, okay, without the sea view, 90% return. Without the sea view, low floor as in first story up to 5 story. Amber Park, which recently TOP, 371 per square foot return, 15% growth rate. So that is one factors I will consider. But of course, there's many other factors we need to put in together to weigh whether or not this MEYER Blue would be a good buy. So the second part is we want to go deeper. Besides the neighbor, right? What is the return likes in that particular district? We call it the neighborhood. And also the RCR. In this case, MEYER Blue is zoned as the RCR city fringe zoning. See whether it is consistent with what the neighbors are earning. So let's take a look at, let's deep dive into this data. And you realize that the RCR and D15 are all achieving healthy returns. This is the whole of District 15, the average prices transacted. So if you look at the 5 years average, 10 years average, and the 15 years average, they are generally earning very healthy return, range from a 17% to 116%. So what does that mean? It means if you hold for 5 years, right? If you put your money in the bank, you earn approximately 17%. 17%, but if you remember for property, generally a typical buyer won't pay fully using their cash. They'll always do a leveraging. So if you factor in leveraging, right, your return on equity is even higher than the 17%. Why is that so? Because your own money that's being invested is a lot lesser. Let's say if you were to take we call it a 25% down payment with 75% leveraging. Let's take a look at RCR, the bigger zoning, but it's still within a proxy case study because MEYER Blue is also a city fringe. And the 5 year, 10 years, and 15 years are consistent with the D15 healthy returns, ranging from 279 per square foot all the way to 1050. And they range from a 16% to 118% return. Okay, interestingly, we actually do a comparison between the RCR as well as the CCR and realize that generally the demand for D15 as well as the RCR is very, very high. As you can see from here that 5 year, 10 years, and 15 years returns, right, all outperform CCR returns. So if the history repeats itself, chances is high that MEYER Blue will yield a superior return if you decided to put your money in this particular RCR MEYER Blue project, if the history repeats itself. So this actually gives me additional confidence if I were to invest in MEYER Blue using a second factor statistic to analyze whether or not should I enter this MEYER Blue. Third factor, rare. Okay, rare to me, right? As a property investor, I feel that they give me more confidence in terms of the preservation of the, not so much about earning money, but something that is rare, right? It gives me that sense of preservation. I want to make sure that my capital is being protected. And in effect, by preserving the capital, right, also give me a capital appreciation potential. Let's take a look. What is this? I always want to use certain picture to remind my own investment journey. If you look at this particular visual, okay, I want to ask the all the consumers here, all right? This is the water in the desert. So just to make sure that I'm not just talking to myself, because this is also to be interactive, okay? Do you agree with me that water in the desert is very rare? If you agree with me, can you put a yes? Okay, can you put a yes? I mean, there's no trick question, because we just want to make sure you internalize some of the key factors for your property investment journey. All right, it's more like learning from each other. If you think that is water in the desert is rare, right? Can you just type a yes? Anyway, we don't know each other. All right, you can just type, scroll down. Okay, try not to type. I saw a lot of yes already, but try to go to the chat box. You go to everyone so that we know the market, because in itself, right, it is like a market as well. Okay, you can go to everyone, okay, and then you type your answer. All right, yeah, I start to see some of you play with that chat box already. Yeah, okay, because early on all the answers all go from the panelists, so it become very quiet, a little bit scary if it's too quiet. All right, so you just learn from each other. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, okay, this water in the desert is rare. So when water in the desert is rare, right, do you agree? Not a trick question. Do you agree that the water, in terms of value, right, there is a preservation of value for the water, meaning the water will be precious because it's very rare. That means there's a preservation of value of water in the context of a desert. If you feel that there's a preservation of value for the water in the context of a desert, in this picture, okay, you put a yes. If you think that no, then you put a no. That means, my question again, water in the desert, is it precious? If it is precious, you put a yes. If you feel that it's precious, you put a yes into the chat. Okay. Again, it's not a trick question. I just want you to internalize how we see investment journey in a very simple. Yes, in fact, investment journey need not be complicated. It's in fact can be putting all the, we call it the complex concept, right, into simple form. So why I want to share with you this visual? Because through my investment journey, there's certain property that invested, we actually use simple story to execute. So in this case, right, let me pull the bus. Okay, question is, the water in the desert, like what you mentioned, is precious. So why this picture? Why this picture? Later we'll explain to you why we feel MEYER BLUE. You decide later, you decide why we feel MEYER BLUE is like water in the desert. Okay, why MEYER BLUE is like water? Because currently, right, if you analyze the whole stretch of the D15, in fact, MEYER Road, the most prestigious address in D15, the whole MEYER Road, there's only 11 neighbors. And guess what? They are the only brand new supply. You analyze the whole stretch, right? There is no brand new supply. Only MEYER BLUE. So it's very rare. So very rare, zero supply. Okay, zero supply. So this is the context. So from now, if you go, there's no supply. August, September, there'll be exclusively 226 units only. Meaning to say, when these 2 units are gone, right, in that stretch of the MEYER Road, the brand new 226 are gone, right? No more. The next round, whoever wanted to buy that MEYER Road freehold, okay, panoramic, unrivaled view, okay, you got money, you have to buy from the resale market. And later we analyze how scarce it is, even in the resale market. Only 226 units. So right now, it is a very rare masterpiece that you get to see. You get to choose the unit type you want and the views you want. Rare. only 226 freehold. So if you look at this particular rarity of supply, right, we analyze from the Belvedere, the Seafront, the Etra, Hawaii Tower, Meyer Rise, Sovereign, Magna, Meyer Mansion, Peach Garden, Alto, and Blue. This is the subject. In the whole stretch, there's only 2310. 2,300 units. Okay. And if you look at the on the H column, right? Okay, it ranges from a newly completed Meyer Mansion all the way to as old as 40 years old. Okay, why this is important? Because if you wanted to buy totally brand new, all right, and with a lot of unique types for you to choose from, it's really only MEYER Blue. Only MEYER Blue. Sorry, there's a typo here. All right, there's a typo here. Okay, MEYER Blue, brand new, the only brand new units that we're getting. Okay, if you look at this Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, that is back in 2018 National Day Rally. Okay, he says freehold is going to be very scarce. All right, because why? Because government only sells land on a 99-year leases. This is clear in by GLS land, right? There's no GLS land in the whole stretch of the MEYER Road. The upside potential next round will be a potential en bloc, because for freehold, right, 99-year lease, okay, for freehold there wouldn't be a government land lease, so you're buying masterpiece that has legacy. So long you don't buy for speculative reason, you buy for long term, your preservation of capital, number one, is there, and you buy into a good good location, okay, with certain attributes that other project don't have, okay, you would have very high safety margin, which later we'll analyze together. All right, we analyze these factors together. So that is the number 3 factors, rare. All right, it's only 2,000 plus unit, and analyzing the whole stretch, there's no freehold unit. All right, there's no freehold unit in that whole area there. Okay, number 4, high rentability. High rentability. Let's take a look at MEYER Rise. It's ranging from 4,002 to 4,007. This is a 2-bedroom, as dated as a May 2024 transactions. Today is 22nd May, and today, in fact, thank you so much for everyone coming to this session, even though it is a holiday today. All right, and that is that 2 bedrooms, high rentability in the event if you so decide to rent it out. All right, and for the trader, 6.8K to 7.75K with the latest transactions. As updated as May 2024. So let me go into the cursor. All right, and this is the 4-bedder, 9.7K to 13K. So for all the different bedroom types, in the event if you so decided to rent it out, want to rent it out is pretty high rentability because of the location, convenient, and now with 2 MRT station, the upcoming Katong Park MRT station, which is pretty near to the MEYER Blue. So in the event so decided to rent it out, okay, it also enhance the accessibility for members who don't drive. So that is the number 4 factors, high rentability. Number 5, okay, when we want to buy something, right, if you want capital appreciation, okay, do you agree with me that knowing the government master plan is important? If you feel that knowing a government master plan is important, you put a yes. Okay, remember, go to the scroll down bar. We just want to make it interactive, right? I mean, there's no right and wrong. We want to learn from the market also. Meaning the government master plan is important. Okay, that means that there must be a growth story. If there's a growth story you feel that is important, that will be helping you in capital appreciation. Wow, thank you so much for everyone's participation. So at least I know I'm not talking to the wall. Okay, so we deep dive into the master plan. Let's take a look at the master plan. All right, but before that, I want to give you very insights in the actual case studies. Let's take a look at the case studies in the west. All right. You may say, hey, Ryner, currently we're doing MEYER Blue, which is in the east. Yes, I know. But let's take a look in the west case studies. Then I'll bring you back to the east as well. All right. We want to see whether is it consistent, not just in the east, but also in as polar position as the west. Let's take a look from this case studies. Okay, if you look at this master plan, right? The studies is such that in URA 2003 master plan, and then over time, okay, over time, let me shift the bar. Over time, 2003 master plan, let me shift this. And 2014 master plan, if you see my cursor here, if you observe like playing games, you observe there is always a small little difference that happen. Okay, by a stroke of pen by the scholar, okay, in the government sector. So we realize that from this yellow color, the reservation site to become this residential site. Small little changes, okay? But it's changes. There are certain transformation that's going on. So let me show you more, okay? Show you more how we study this small little sub. 2003 master plan versus 2019 master plan. So if you see a little bit sharper on the eyesight, right? You realize that from this zoning of a green zone, which is the nature park, and also, of course, the yellow color is the reservation site. My cursor here on the right, 2019 master plan. By a stroke of pen and coloring, the government actually changed this to the white side. Okay, white side. So it's a transformation, it's a certain growth story. Okay, transforming the original reserve site, or we call it the green site, into a white site. All right, the white site. And in addition, on top of it, changing from this reservation site to residential site. So what all this are what we mean by transformation. There's a certain growth story, okay, within that master plan over time, from 2003 to 2019. So we realize transformation equates price appreciation potential. Look at Mayfair 446 per square foot, 1118. Park Oasis 371. First quarter 2024, 1173. Ivory 225. One quarter 2024, 1055. J Gateway, the more recent one, J Gateway in 2013, 1467 per square foot, and currently is 1937. 1937. So if you go into this line chart, comparing the Ivory Heights, Park Oasis, Mayfair, Gateway, and if you were to intersect with the master plan of 2003, 14, and 2019, one clear insights came out. Transformation lift property prices. So you can see since this is the since launch return, okay, on this top table here, all very healthy returns. And below, price growth 2003 to 14, 03 to 19, 19 to 1 quarter as at updated now 2024, all EU capital appreciation. So this is one case study that shows transformation effect. If there's a growth story in a particular area, it actually injects potential capital appreciation. That is that where's growth story. Okay, where's growth story. So now we are doing MEYER Blue. All right, let's take a look at the east area. Right, let's take a look at the east area. Looking at the east area, this is the master plan in 2003 to see whether it yield consistent result. And this is the 2014 master plan. So if you look at this 2003, there are certain changes, minor changes, but you have to look at it carefully. Did you realize on my left, the 2003, that is where originally the government put residential. You see this? This is a residential. But by a stroke of pen, right, government decided to put it commercial on the right. Commercial as well as the white side. And from this zoning here, they decided to carve out some of the land for reservation. The key is whenever government do something, right? The good news is the big picture is such that on the surrounding to be better. They want to make sure that it's becoming more valuable because they'll be injecting mega infrastructure, okay, mega investment in a particular area. So looking at the very nearby properties in the east transformational area, the Makina happen to be very near MEYER Blue, MEYER Rise, the Belvedere. So these are the few projects that's very near to that transformational east area. And guess what? It yields the same consistent result. Transformation lifted property prices. So as you can see, 2003 to 2014, 2003 to 2019, 2019 to now currently, first quarter 2024. The effect of that transformation, right? The effect of transformation. Positive capital appreciation. So the 5 shows when there is a growth story, there will be a potential capital appreciation. So MEYER Blue, currently MEYER Blue, which is just at the doorstep, is the East Coast Park. I don't know whether you still remember this guy, our Deputy Prime Minister, Heng Swee Keat. Okay, Heng Swee Keat. For our East Coast residents, we also have an East Coast plan, all right? We also have an East Coast plan. So as you can see from here, right? Okay, this is a very nice East Coast plan. Okay, it's a Long Island East Coast plan, all right? Of course, in addition to that, there's many other transformation. Generally, we want to know that there will be huge amenities, new continuous 18 click, we call it the Greenway, to connect the East Coast Park to the Changi Beach Park, all right? It makes the amenities, the lifestyle a lot more livable, enhance connectivity to the future green spaces and many more, as you can see from public data where they can extract. So one thing for sure, huge amount of money will be invested, okay, in the growth story. Okay, we don't want to think too complicated, all right? As a property investor, right? As a property investor, I want to ask all of you, okay? All of you, when imagine you are the government, you decided to have growth story on a particular area, and you decided to spend certain X amount of money, which you know is not cheap, it's going to be very substantial. Okay, like you can see from the transformation, we call it the 7 East Coast TE, and the 2 particular one that's very nearby, MEYER Blue. You can already see the amount. If you see my cursor here, the amount of money, the mega infrastructure, okay, the huge investment that's putting in that growth story area. Okay, now the question is this: would the land in that surrounding become more valuable? Not a trick question, huh? I always like to ask myself, if there's a huge, we call it master plan story, government is going to invest millions, hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, okay, in that location. I want to ask, would the land value, okay, land value become more valuable? Do you think it will become more valuable? Yes or no? All right. So no trick question. Just purely imagine yourself. Okay. Okay. You are the government. You really pump that kind of money. Imagine you really pump that Katong Park MRT. Not free one. It's really a lot of money. Katong and the Tanjong also not free. A lot of money is money. So would the value of that land in the surrounding become more valuable? Okay, let me take a look at try to answer to everyone so that we know the market, okay? We will know the market, all right? So thank you so much for your reply. So yes, like most of you, I personally feel it will become more valuable. So when it become more valuable, right, in the long term, we cannot say in the short term. Because buying property is always in the long term of a good horizon of 5 years, 10 years. Generally, if this continue, responsible government, okay, making sure that the money really goes into that land that they invested, yes, generally the land will become more valuable. So when the land become more valuable, being a raw material in the long term, the key is called in the long term. When the land become more valuable as a raw material, that is where you inject potential upside. Why? Because future, let's say now 10 years down the road, 10 years down the roads, the land that's going to be bidded 10 years down the road, long term, is not going to be cheap. So when it's not going to be cheap, likewise for construction costs, labor costs, there will be a new record price in the next 10 years. But I buy now. When I buy now, I hedge against inflation. And with that growth story, right? With the growth story, it gives me the added advantage. It gives me the added confidence. All right? It gives me the added confidence. So that is, for this particular MEYER Blue, there is a growth story. So that is that very six factor that I want to consider. Why is that so? Because when there's a master plan, okay, it helps to give me another statistic reason why I'm more confident in investing in MEYER Blue. Second, the number 7 factors, I will also want to ask myself, yes, while I'm buying MEYER Blue for own stay, enjoying the lifestyle, I also still want to ask myself this important question, meaning to say, can MEYER Blue price still appreciate? Okay, so now not a trick question, all right? So this is a question that I, as an investor, I want to ask myself. Can MEYER Blue price still appreciate? All right. We interact together, all right? You can say yes, you can say no, you can say DK. DK means don't know, all right? So let's take a look. Just answer to everyone to see the market. Yes, you feel like it's all about feeling, it's all about feeling, but I'm going to show you statistic so that you can make a more informed decision for this particular seminar. Okay, you feel feeling only, feeling, because it's really about feeling, all right? But once we see statistic, it's more rational, all right? You feel yes, no, don't know. Very good. Thank you so much. I get to see yes. I get to see depends on the launch price. Very good. Very good feedback. Starting is expensive. You see, this is what we call market. Very good. So when you reply to everyone, you see everyone views are different. So when everyone views are different, right? You know what happened? That makes the market. You see, that makes the market. All right. So there's really no right and wrong. I saw one DK. DK means don't know. All right. DK means don't know. Okay. So when I ask myself this question, case studies. All right. But you have to bring yourself back to the history. That means you have to play that role of bringing yourself back to the history. Okay. Because this is very real, all right? Like I still remember the 4th property that I bought, the recent property with my wife. I bought at record price. But guess what? The 4th property that I bought at record price, right? Now, I just do a check. Capital appreciation, I'm sitting on a paper profit of close to about 800,000. But then was a record price, Then just a few years back, record price, all right? The 4th property, because then it's interestingly, okay, my wife and myself decided I'll just go in. So long what? So long it's affordable, so long we analyze all the factors. The key factors, I always remember this. Don't need to take 10 factors. So long it takes 7 factors, 7 key factors. My wife and myself decided to go in already. Why is that so? Because my wife and myself always remind ourselves, there's no perfect husband, there's also no perfect wife, right? I mean, to be fair, if everything is perfect, there'll be one thing that's not perfect in property, meaning the price, correct? So long it fulfills 7 key important factors, we go in. We always go in a very simple, practical execution. So this case study is, right, we want to analyze all the D15 since we're doing MEYER Blue, but you have to bring yourself back to the history. And interestingly, this back to the history, right? This D15 projects, right, at that point in time, right, is a new normal price. It is a record price. New normal price, record price at a point in time when they are launched. Okay, let's analyze their price performance, all right, to see whether we gain certain insights. And in 2019, right, launching at an average price of $2,483, right, a lot of the clients are saying it's very expensive. Guess what? Guess what? One data point. If you exit now in first quarter 2024, right? Based on the raw data from UREs, you are earning a capital appreciation of 371 per square foot. 15% growth return. All right, this is Amber Park. So using the same set of case studies, I also have consumers who ask me, hey, Ryner, should I buy 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom, 4-bedroom? Because of all this feedback from the consumers, right? It becomes very interesting for me to do deeper research. And I realized another important insight, which stayed true until now. To say that if you look at this Amber Park, right? The 1-bedroom profit is about averagely 150,000. As you can see from my cursor here, the 1-bedroom for Amber Park. The 2-bedroom is 222K, averagely profit. And the 3-bedroom is about 381K. So this one insight, right, for one case study, there's a few more case study I'll go through with you. Derive an important insight, meaning buy as big as we can. The most important is to still buy as prudently as we can. So long is very prudent. Let's say if your pocket, let's say in my pocket, your pocket, if you're able to buy a 3-bedroom, go for it. Because your quantum profit, right, based on statistic, is high. So that is also a reason why the rich get richer. But the key important thing is what? We must buy prudently. Very important. We must buy prudently. So the blue color bar is the average profit. How about the gray color bar? It is the highest achieved profit for the particular bedroom type. Yes, you didn't see wrongly. This particular is an actual transaction. For this particular guys who bought this 15-XX, this particular 1-bedroom, the owner who exited earns 214K. Just a 1-bedroom. This particular guy, 2-bedroom, 12 floor, okay, transacted on January 2024, already sold. This particular person earns 348K. And this particular 3-bedroom, 17 floor, transacted in November 2023, exited, earns 504K. Okay, 504K. So this is one important insight. MEYER, second case study, 2011, first quarter, 2024. Yield, healthy returns. And the interesting part is it shows consistent result for the 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. Bigger unit, bigger quantum. And yes, this guy, we don't know who is this particular guy. It yields a gross profit highest achieved above 1.2 million. In fact, 1.274 million, 13th floor. All right? 13th floor. Third case studies. Corallis, 45% return. Then this particular project was launched, was another D15 project, was launched in 2010, 159 per square foot. Okay, 1459 per square foot. For this particular Corallis, generally, it yields the consistent result, the 1-bedder, 2-bedder, 3-bedder, all having a higher average profit return. Highest achieved for this particular 3-bedder, all above 0.5 million. And for those who are familiar with D15, 70 St. Patrick, 32.2% price capital appreciation. And let's take a look. Let me pull out the cursor. The 2-bedder and the 3-bedder earning an average profit of 187K, 363K. But the key is, remember this, we must not buy speculatively. So it's very important. It's very important to make sure that we buy for long term, right? We buy for long term. It's important. And seaside residences, if you recall, the seaside residences, the per square foot then was 1711. Okay, it's a 99-year lease for this particular seaside. And then when it was launched at 1711, if you have to recall yourself back to the history, then was a record price. To buy a 99-year lease, seaside residences, 1711. So I want you to visualize psychology. The psychology of buying at that kind of per square foot, okay? There will always be a few camps, different camps. One camp is expensive. What is expensive? The very person who say expensive at that point in time, 1711, would have lost the opportunities to exit now at 2252 per square foot. That means it's always whether to put the money in the bank or whether to put the money into property. So why this is important? Because you give us an idea, okay? An idea at that point in time, it may look record price, but if you're buying not speculatively, if you consider other many factors, in totality, that is where you reduce your risk to the minimum. All right. So this is the seaside residences. Looking at the seaside residences, the 1-bedder, 2-bedder, 3-bedder, and the 4-bedder, generally it stays true. Buy as big as you can, but make sure you buy prudently. Prudently means you don't overstretch. All right. Never overstretch. Price performance, MEYER House. Okay, MEYER House, when it was launched, is 26XX per square foot. 2006. Same thing, new normal, or we call it record price at a point in time. Okay, record price at a point in time. So guess what? For the person who bought during that, if you go to the MEYER House, right? All right, at that point, many will say it's expensive. But guess what? Let's take a look at the data. A recent transaction yields a 1.37 million for this MEYER House, which is just recently TOP. Okay, these two projects happen to be recently TOP. So many data's not available yet because just recently TOP, but there are transactions already achieved that yields returns. For this MEYER mansion, the 4-bedroom, the gross return is 399K, and this is the gross return of 1.37 million. Take note, okay, this is on the 4th floor. MEYER House is on the 4th floor only, low floor unit. MEYER mansion is on the 21 floor, all right? 21 floor. So if you ask the question, or I myself ask the question, can MEYER Blue still earn return? I don't know. But looking at the case studies of D15, I don't want to make emotional decision. I want to take a look at the past D15, and then I want to recall myself. Okay, for those who happen to know the East area, okay, if you recall yourself during back then, that few projects, okay, Seaside Residence, MEYER House, Amber Park, okay, at that point in time, is that record price. But for those who didn't enter, the opportunity cost will be now. But then they rigorously feel it's expensive. But what is expensive? What is expensive? So that is where the investment comes. But if I were to use the data without being emotional, if the history repeats itself, it does suggest that MEYER Blue, if it follows what the data suggested, yes, okay, there will be upside potential if the history repeats itself. So that's the 7th factor. All right, 7th factor. Number 8 factor. Let's analyze, because you know MEYER Blue, right? MEYER Blue is very walking distance to the MRT. It's about 5 to 6 minute walk to the MRT. All right. and not to mention doorstep East Coast Park. We want to analyze a city fringe project, MEYER BLUE, city fringe, walk to MRT. Let's take a look at this case studies. So as you can see from this map here, all right, MEYER BLUE walking to the Katong MRT, and this is the Katong Park. And in fact, it's flanked by 2 MRT stations. The other MRT station is about 6 to 7 minutes walk, Tanjong Katong. So if we analyze those freehold MRT station that is also near MRT, Alexis, a few case studies, Blossom at Woodley, City Square, all right? These are all the RCR. What is this blue bar? And what is this yellow bar? The blue bar is the ROI, the return on investment. And the ROE is the return on equity, meaning we account for typical buyer who buy using leveraging, all right? Using leveraging. So let's take a look. The insight is such that it all yields healthy return for a freehold city fringe project that is near MRT station. So as you can see from here, Alexis, all right, a very good return of 931 per square foot. So you buy a 1,000 square foot unit, right? You'll be earning a 931K capital appreciation. The return on equity is being amplified to 238%. That is where a lot of laymen sometimes didn't get to see it because it's not so obvious to the eyes. But for property investor like ourselves, right, we always like leveraging. We call it a good debt, a very good debt. So you see, the ROI, right, is actually only 88%. We call it the growth rate ROI, meaning we assume that property, whatever you see in the price index, in the URA, etc., all this, okay, generally we don't account for leveraging. So it's about 88%. But if you account for leveraging, right, the ROE amplified to 238%. Let's take a look on how the methodology actually works. So if I bring you through this insight, this particular Alexis, 1,000 square foot, bought in 2009, and currently, if you were to sell at 2024, right, you'll be selling at 1.982 million. The period is about 15 years. And let's take a look at now the current outlay, 25%. Let's assume there's a certain assumption, 25% down payment, and you earn a gross profit of 1982 less 1.051. You get a gross profit of 931. But because you take a 25% down payment, right, you need to take a 75% loan. And let's assume a loan of 30 years, 3.3%. All right. Currently, the completed property is about 3%. All right. But let's take a look at 3.3%. So what happened is 75% of this particular purchase price, because take leveraging. So in short, if you look at this whole table here, right? Okay, then the outstanding will be 483. The interest payment, the total interest payment will be 304. Gross profit of 931K minus off all the interest that need to be returned back to the bank. All right, the net, we call it the net profit, the gross profit less the interest payment back to the bank, 626. So it'll be 626K. So using this 626K, you divide it by the down payment, your own money, return on your own money, where you see 626 divided by 262K, you yield an amplified return, 238.3% return on equity. All right, and a healthy return of close to about 15.9% return. That is where the magic, okay, hedge against inflation. That is the beauty part about Singapore property. So using the same methodology, all right, I'm not going to elaborate on the other 2 case studies. It yields consistent result. For Blossom at Woodley, the return on equity is about 419%, and the return on investment is about 140%. All right. And if you go into the other case studies, all right, the other case studies, this is the working behind using the same methodology that explained in Alexis, less off the interest component. And the third case study on City Square, very healthy return of 224, okay, since launch. And if you exit now in first quarter 2024. The return on equity is 742%. You didn't see wrongly. It's just that this return on equity concept is usually less being articulated because it's a little bit more complicated. You need to calculate the total interest that you need to pay to the bank. All right. So usually most of that return, for easy understanding, right? A lot of us will use the return on investment. All right. So in short, the insight is such that the return on investment and the return on equity for freehold projects that is near MRT or EU healthy return. Okay, this is the 8th factor that gives confidence. Because why? MEYER BLUE is a freehold. It falls under the same category as apple comparison, a city fringe, near MRT, and if I hold for long term, if the history repeats itself, right, chances is I'm confident that it will yield healthy return. If and only if I were to take a 75% LTV, if I'm the first timer. But of course, not many are so really. Most of the typical buyer will take leveraging, all right, 75% loan, all right, because very, very few will take a full cash payment, okay, to buy the property. And for that very person who can use that is usually the super rich, all right, super rich. Okay, factor number 9. This factor number 9, limited edition. What do you mean by limited edition? You see whether is it true. Now let's say, remember the water in the desert? It is very rare. There's only the brand new 226 unit. Once gone, right? No more. Really no more. You only get from the resale market. So what happened is, let's analyze the resale market. So if you analyze the resale market in the past 12 months, okay, past 12 months, if you get my cursor here, from that neighbors, the Belvedere, Seafront, Etra, Hawaii Tower, Meyer Rise, Sovereign, all the way down to Alto. This column, right, refers to the resale volume transaction in the past 12 months. So in total, right, if you average up all these transacted units, there's only 6 units per month. So meaning, if we didn't be able to get the brand new unit, brand new meaning everything brand new, quality appliances, most contemporary design, okay, don't need to worry, headache about the renovation, everything is brand new, okay? You don't need to factor in your renovation cost, you don't need to factor in your higher maintenance cost, you just take over the brand new unit, all right? If that whole 226 brand new units are gone, right, then you have to get from the resale market. And the resale market will be only 6 units per month transacted. That is how rare it is. Because not many owners want to sell. Because that very, very unique attributes. Freehold, by the park. Looking at the sea is even rarer. Later I'm going to show you how rare having that sea views. All right. By the park is really literally by the park, with that small little underground link. You arrive at that East Park, enjoying a good family bonding that money come by. You can exercise structure drive behavior, right? Because the East Coast Park is so near to you. In addition to enjoying that facilities, you get that kind of lifestyle, right? It's only six units transacted. And the 6 unit transacted, you choose. Because it depends on the resale market. Whatever they sell, you buy from there. Whereas for the 226 unit, you get to choose from the 226 unit. You got more variety for you to choose from. So that is the difference. Rarity. All right, that's what we call, you got money, but may be very hard to get it. Okay, once it is gone, then you have to get from the resale market. So that resale transaction, you saw this red color on the horizontal, that is the 6.3 units transacted per year, getting from the resale market. And let's go a little bit deep dive, okay, into the limited units of sea view facing towards the south and also landed view, okay, towards the north. Let's take a look. Okay, this is the deep dive, the Belvedere, all right. There's only 60 units, that's sea facing unit, 60 units, all right, facing towards the south. And this is the seafront, 123 units, 88 units for Etra at the MEYER, 120 units sea facing unit. We call it the Hawaii Tower at MEYER. 61 units facing towards the MEYER Rise, 87 units facing towards the sea facing, the Sovereign. Makina, there's only 147 units. Mainly those that's facing towards the sea. All right. And 100 units, MEYER mentioned. Beach Garden about 35. And Alto is about 96 units, sea facing units. So if you look at this estimated sea facing unit, about 917 units. But I want you to take a look at this two asterisk here. In the event if you so decided to choose the sea facing unit, you will know that, okay, generally 10th floor and below, right? Generally, based on local terrain analysis, for 10th floor and below units, chances is high that there's no sea facing. So if the 10th floor and below there's no sea facing, right? Meaning, just now we say sea facing, so chances if you less off the 10th floor and below units, there'll be even lesser sea view unit. That means there will be even lesser sea view unit, okay, from that 2,000 plus unit along that MEYER road. All right, along that. So this is one rare attributes that we mentioned. Okay, not only freehold by the park, but also panoramic, nice sea views. All right, nice sea views. And of course, like one of the buyers mentioned, is a full exclusivity. All right, full exclusivity and full privacies towards the sea views. And of course, the landed views are very nice. Okay, for those who want landed views, you can go for the landed views as well. Let's take a look at the panoramic views. Okay, the panoramic views. Okay, this is the sea views from the 21st floor. Let's take a look. This is the video. We are actually on the 21st floor of the old MEYER Park. Can see the video here? That is a forest view plus the sea views. And that is a landed view. For those who want quiet, okay, quiet views, landed views, take a look here. You can take a look at this landed view. It's amazing, clear landed views. So you got three best view for you to choose from: sea views, landed views, MBS view. All right. And yes, you can really see the MBS. Let's take a look at the MBS. So look at this is a C plus S to the right. So we actually zoom in. It's a very raw video for you to see firsthand. All right, raw video for you to see firsthand. So this is a static photo on the 21st floor. All right, on the 21st floor of Old MEYER Park. All right, the MEYER Park. So this is the sea views, and we call it really mind body recharging views. Okay, early in the morning you get to see very nice. Okay, so it's more like a personal preference. Are you a view person? Okay, are you a sea view person? Are you a landed view person? All right, and you can choose something that you like. And that is the 13th floor. Surprisingly, we all the way go to the 13th floor. This is 13th floor views. This is the 13th floor sea views. All right, and there's only one majestic tower. Remember the configuration that there's only one tower, so there isn't two. There's only one majestic tower. And on my right, this is the 11th floor view. Okay, 11th floor view, you also get to see the sea a little bit, all right, a bit of sea view on the 11th floor. All right, so let's continue. That is the landed view on the 21st floor. That landed view on the 21st floor. How do you feel? Can you imagine? How do you feel early in the morning? The landed views. So you have a feel on yourself, whether you like landed views or whether you like sea views. Okay, it's very individual preference. All right, very individual preference. Okay, factors 11, resale versus new launch. Let's deep dive into, because MEYER Blue got about 226 units. Let's deep dive into units that's about close to about this range. All right. So we have to bring ourselves back to the history. Say for example, back then, okay, let's say back then, back in the history, let's say in 2011, should I buy, for instance, Seafront, which is a resale? But if I were to buy a resale, I need to fully renovate again to make it brand new. Yeah, because if I resale, assuming you want to make it good as brand new, you need to renovate the whole unit. And now to renovate the whole unit, you factor in the renovation cost. All right, if you buy a resale. But if I buy a new launch, then MEYER Rise, back in 2011. I don't need because it's a brand new unit. So just curiosity, which one will yield a higher return? New launch, which is more expensive than resale, but the new launch now given hindsight, if you exit in first quarter 20, in fact, this is April 2024 data. The MEYER rise yield a healthy return, 34% compared to resale, even though both units are freehold, right? Both units are freehold. So the key is depending on yourself, but you have to remember one thing, okay? Buying a resale may look cheaper, but don't forget to factor in renovation costs that will have to make do that old unit back to brand new. Then you have a fuller picture. But this is something that always sometimes, okay, client may forget to factor in renovation costs. So if you factor in renovation costs, it's actually a lot more expensive than what you see in the resale market. All right. So that is the perspective. Buy new launch, MEYER rise, back in 2011, or buy resale. See fronts on here. So if you bring yourself back to the history, you realize that the new launch, if over long term, use the gray color one, okay, buy at this point, even though it's more expensive than resale, but it yields a 651K profit. Assuming, okay, assuming it is a 1,000 square foot, a 1,000 square foot size, all right, so that everyone can remember. So the capitalization of this 651, right, actually is very substantial, you know. Let's assume a income of 20K a month. We save 10%, 20K, 2,000. Wow, I need to save about 3 to 5 months, that is 27 years, to save 651K. Okay, this is a perspective, meaning if somebody were to always just save money, but decided not to buy property as a hedge against inflation, right? To save a $2,000 per month, I need to save 3 to 5 months. That's almost 27 years. So I'm a strong believer, don't put the money in the bank, because if you put the money in the bank, it will be eaten up by inflation. Next, we're going to deep dive a little. New launch BUC, because you're buying new launch versus a resale. This, we hope, can add value to you. Expenses incurred over 4 years, because we assume 4 years to build. Okay, 4 years to build. A 75% LTV, a 4.5% interest rate for a BUC, building under construction, 4 years to build. In short, we did a case study of a 30-year loan and a 20-year loan. For a quantum price of a 2.5 million, 3.5 million, and 4.5 million. Take a look at the orange color. This orange color is the total interest. Okay, I call it total expense in 4 years. It is in the range of 81K to 146K. Because it's progressive payment. When it is a progressive payment, right, the interest rate, even though it's 4.5%, but you didn't pay the branch of the interest payment. So that's the reason why the interest component that you're paying to the bank, right, is on the side. It's only 81K to 6K. Whereas if the person were to buy a resale, not so obvious to the eyes. The resale, we are also assuming a 4 years holding period. Currently for resale completed unit, the interest 3%. So we did take 4.5%. We take 3%, right? 3%. So even if we take 3%, but because you buy a resale, the very person need to remember, he will be paying the full brunt, he will be bearing the full brunt of the whole interest component. So for a same 30-year loan, KD, right? Case study 1, 2, and 3. You realize the red color for a resale. This is something that very resale buyer need to remember. You see, for this, you have to pay a 246K to 486K for a resale interest component. Same 4-year period. Because we want to compare apple with apple comparison. So if you put this together, the orange color and the red color, orange being the BUC, red color being the resale unit. The BUC expense are a lot lesser. It is only 33%, 31%, 30%. It is a lot lesser, okay, the interest expense compared to the resale unit. even though the resale unit now, the interest is only 3%. All right. Whereas the BUC at 4.5% is a progressive payment. All right. It's a payment. So the savings to buy a BUC over that same period, right? We are talking about 165K, 165K all the way to 339K. So in visual term is this. Resale expense is about 3.2 times more than BUC, building under construction. So the insight to you is to remember, not say cannot buy resale. It all depends. If the person have an immediate needs, very immediate needs to buy resale, then no choice because you needs. But we also have a group that don't have immediate needs, have the flexibility, wanted delay gratification. They can delay. Then they wait for new launch because the new launch, the progressive payment work on his side, right? Work on his side. So if you were to use this, is resale unit cheaper? We don't know. Later we go into it a little. But you can see this box here. That is the extra, okay? The extra of the expenses, huge expenses, because of the full brunt of the interest payment for the person who buy a resale unit. So if you do an analysis on, let's say, for example, a 1109 square foot, 30-year loan tenure, okay, at a 3% currently, okay, at a 3.5 million. So this is the additional 247K. How do you arrive at this 247K? If you go to the previous slides, okay, this is the 247K, you see? This is the 247K. Why additional 247K? Because 361 minus 113, 247. So this is if the person were to buy resale, he or she mustn't forget to add this, okay, into the resale unit, because that is the additional cost compared with buying a new launch. So if you use the 247 divided by 1109, we're talking about 223 per square foot additional expense. Don't forget to add that. And not after this, right? Remember that one is an old unit, you know. Old unit with all the appliances, maybe you something you don't like. You want to do it brand new, like MEYER BLUE. You also need to put in a decent, depending on the size that you buy. You can get a quotation from interior designer or renovation equivalent, quality finishes, quality appliances. How much would that be? You divide it by 1109, that is another additional per square foot. You use that additional per square foot plus this additional per square foot plus, because older unit, remember, some of the project is nearby the neighbors are as old as about 40 years old. There'll be more maintenance costs. So if you add up all this additional maintenance costs that's not so obvious to the resale buyer, is it really that cheaper? And the project is less contemporary in design. So the key is, do you need immediate, meaning immediate? If you don't need immediate, yes, then you have the flexibility, okay, to consider the benefit of a progressive payment for a new launch. So that is the BUC versus the resale inside, okay, to make sure that you make a more informed decision. Factor number 12. This MEYER BLUE, right, is by award-winning developer. The developer has a huge, nice track record, okay? Quality assurance. That means you're buying really masterpieces. Because this particular developer won many prestigious awards. FIACI Prince Excellence Award. It's like the Oscar Award. Okay, meaning it gives you that quality assurance when you get your key. And let's take a look at this. Not only it got this awards, it got many numerous other awards. All right. So we are having a very reputable developer, okay, to deliver the products. So it gives client that kind of a peace of mind. And this is Singapore Land. It is a joint venture between Singapore Land and UOL. All right. UOL equally established, a lot of awards, okay, for this developer coming together. So these are all the amazing products from the developers. So it gives us that very important, it's just like buying a watch, all right? If you buy from a, let's say, a Rolex watch, if you buy a Rolex watch, you want to make sure that you get from the original Rolex manufacturer, all right? Because it gives you the confidence, right? You will be very, very worried if it is not that Rolex manufacturer. It is another manufacturer that is never here before, or having less of a track record. So it's the same thing. This MEYER Blue, right? It is a rare, it's going to be masterpiece because we do know UOL, all right? They have established. So that's one important point that I will factor in quality assurance. And of course, proximity to education. As you can see from this MEYER Blue, the blue color here, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are the close proximity to education institution. Tanjong Katong Primary, Taonan, CHIJ, and many. If you look at the other one, CHIJ Convents, St. Patrick's School, Zhongzhen Ming High, Tanjong Katong Girls School, Victoria JC. Victoria JC. Eateries, nice eateries nearby. Nice eateries nearby. As you can see from, look at this delicious food, all right? East Coast, Lagoon, Hokkien Mee. So there's many other, all right? In fact, it's 10 slides of all the good eateries also may not be able to fit in all the slides here. But it's amazing, good foods, okay, nearby institution. So these are the kind of lifestyle. And this is where I want to mention is really by the park. How many units is panoramic view, unrivaled view, and by the park, where they can enjoy all this good family bondings, okay, with your loved one, where money really cannot buy. And very near to good shopping malls, okay, very convenient. As you can see, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Parkway, Parade, I-12, Kinex, PLQ. So you can just a short drive. You can bring your loved one, your family, over to all these shopping malls. And safety margin, okay. Why I feel there's a safety margin for MEYER Blue being a freehold? Because I'm going to use a 99-year lease. Let's take a look at the market. 99-year lease, RCR project. Because MEYER Blue is an RCR project. But why I want to take 99 is to bring me to the awareness that even for 99-year lease city fringe, right? We call it Leaf at MB, Grand Diamond, Canning Hill Pills, Rivier. These are all the RCR, City Fringe project, but they are all 99-year, whereas MEYER Blue is freehold. But let's take a look at safety margin. This is like what I call support line, meaning they already achieved for a 99-year lease, right? Already achieved 2,009 per square foot. This is 18th floor. And the other one is 17th floor. 17th floor, this particular project is Grand Diamond. All right, Grand Diamond. Also a District 15, already achieved 2,009. This is what I mean by support line. What I mean by support line, because MEYER Blue, right, cannot be falling below 2,009 support line. So it's very good safety margin. All right, good safety margin, because we do know the latest transaction already achieved 2,000. Now, if you look at the other two, the highest achieved for this particular Canning Hill Piers and Riviera is 3,005, 3,002. Okay, bear in mind that one is higher floor. So that's the reason why if you factor in the floor level, right, it is still a good safety margin because they are 99-year. Okay, they are not freehold, 99-year. And if you look at this is the support line. Okay, the support line. Okay, meaning MEYER Blue won't fall below the support line. MEYER Blue being the freehold. Let me put this up. And just now, remember, there's one consumer who says, depending on the price that they sell, right? It's a very good question. The pricing. Now I'm going to the bonus slides, all right? The developer pricing strategy. Let's take a look at the launch unit, meaning the launch till until the last unit that's being sold, okay? Last unit being sold. Let's take a look. Okay, does the developer provide attractive pricing? Let's take a look at the case studies. Okay, UOL City Fringe, Triver, all right? So then was launched in 1552. If you sell until the last unit sold, okay, last unit sold is 1705. is a price growth of 9.8%. So for those who buy during the preview, right, UOL appears to sell at an attractive price. All right, this is one case studies. Second case studies, Avenue South Residence. Let me close this. Okay, South Residence 1940, and until the last unit sold 2265. See that? Appear to be selling at an attractive price based on case study number 2. Number 3, 1638 to 1699, Clavon. Third case studies, 1327 to 1446, appear to be also selling at an attractive price during the preview. Okay, this Clement Canopy. All right. And how about the price performance from launch and if you were to exit now from the same developer? Right, from the same developer, 1557 to 1926 is about 23% healthy returns. All right, and bear in mind these are all we assume the ROI because there's no leveraging. All right, so if you factor in ROE, the return is going to be amplified. All right, because you're using less of your own money. So it's 1949 all the way to 2259, it's a 15.9% return. And Clavon 1638, now you exit is about 1987, about 21% return. And this is 1355, 1886 is a healthy 39% return from the same developer. And this is 1674, 2107, 2107, 25.8% return, Alex Residences. All right. So it appears that the developers, right, price attractively. If the history repeats itself, it gives me more confidence, right? They price attractively till the last unit sold based on the case studies, all right? And this pricing strategy, if it's consistent for MEYER Blue, then it gives me that confidence. And second bonus point, is this the right time to enter? Price trend analysis, okay? It may look complicated, but I'm going to make very complicated things simple, all right? We're going to look into that long time series, 1995, all the way to currently the very updated first quarter, 2024, all right? 2024. So this insight, I hope, is going to be useful for all the consumers here, all right? And it may change the way you want to invest, all right? It's like a paradigm shift. So as you can see from here, you know, property will always have peaks. What go ups will come down, right? What go ups will come down. What go ups will come down. What go ups will come down. So let's take a look at all the peak prices. The peak prices, peak 1, peak 2, peak 3, peak 4, and peak 5. All right. These are all the per square foot. I'm going to point into the insights that you can gather. All right. You realize one interesting insight. If you buy not for speculative reason, big picture, we look at the big picture. And this actually guided me a lot in my own property investment. The next peak, right, is always the per square foot is higher than the previous peak. Did you see this insight? You see, the next peak compared to the previous peak, right, is always higher than the previous peak. So what does that mean? It means, imagine now you're back in 1996. You may think that you're buying peak, right? But so long you are not buying for speculative reason, the next peak, so long you got holding power, it will be higher than the previous. It will be higher than the previous peak. So it will write off the volatility. So what looks expensive at that point in time, right, become cheap moving forward. This is the big picture. Because why? Because we got a very effective government, responsible government that will continue to invest in a mega infrastructure. Of course, you want to buy something that fulfill the 7 ticks. Let's take a look at the 4. Now, after the peak, we look at the 4. For every 4, right, because property investment, there will always be risks, ups and downs. But we want to show you the important insights. So this is for $470 per square foot. There's another 4 until, wow, 794, scary, you see? 4 until 1272. Wow, 4 until 1507. But you analyze the big picture. Did you realize one important insight? I'm going to bring it to you. the fall, right, even though it fall, right, to become 794, right, the next fall, the per square foot is always still higher than the previous fall. That means still higher in terms of per square foot than the previous fall. You see the 4.3, 1,272 per square foot, higher than the 4.2. 1,507, higher than the 4.3. What does that mean? Meaning to wait for the price to fall, right? It's like what Warren Buffett said. He don't want to time the market. In fact, timing the market is so difficult. Okay? So difficult. The key is to make sure that we are able to be affordable. Okay? Fulfill 7 ticks, let the time be on our side. Buy something that's value for money. Because price is very subjective. Value is important. Differentiate between value and price is important. All right. And buy, imagine buy, we buy having the insight that the next peak is always higher than the previous peak, the big picture. And you realize even the fall, the per square foot is always still higher than the previous fall. What does that mean? It means putting this together, right? The magnitude of the peak and the fall analysis, putting into this form. Let me show you the fall first. Look at this green color. When it fall, right, 42%, that is the Asian financial crisis. Subprime crisis, fall by about 33%. This is another 2 fall, 7.2%, 7.6%. All right. You realize one important insight. For fall, right, falling is a range of 42% to 7%, the range. This is a small magnitude of fall. Later, I'm going to show you what we mean by small magnitude compared to the gain. And for fall duration, right, it won't fall for a long time one. It will fall by about 1 to 3 years based on the case studies. See this inside? Because why? Same thing, because we got very effective government. If you recall back, they are gaining more and more experiences. That's why there's so many cooling measures, calibrated cooling measures. If you look at the COVID, right, rescue package 1, rescue package 2, billions of dollars to do the soft landing. So they are gaining more experiences, especially after the Asian financial crisis. So such fall of 42%, right, rarely we'll see going forward because we have a very experienced government who want to make sure that the soft landing are done properly. And especially when we got a huge national reserve. That is the insight. Okay. So now you know based on the case study that you saw earlier on, the statistic, the duration is not going to be long, 1 to 3 years. So you need to have minimum holding period of 3 years. Don't speculate. Must have 3 years minimum to be able to ride the fall. Because so long you don't sell, right, you won't make the loss. See that? But the key is to still buy prudently. All right? To buy prudently. But if you put this together with that gain, you see the gain of this cyan color? The gain, the magnitude is a lot bigger, you know. 153%, 79%, 28%, and 27%. If you put all this together, long time series, from 1995 all the way to first Q 2024, what's going to happen? It's going to be this. You realize for a bull run, we call it a bull run. Okay, the gain. Number one, the insight is, that's why if you hold property for long term, it's a good hedge against inflation. Not I say, but based on the statistic. Okay, it shows that the bull run period, the duration is 3 to 9 years. It's a lot longer duration of running up. And the magnitude is also higher compared to the fall. So the key is what? The key insight here is, after analyzing a long-term line series, right, factoring in the Asian financial crisis, the subprime crisis, as the COVID crisis, where the government gained more and more experiences to mitigate the risk of a downside, all right? Putting these two tables together, the negative return and the positive return, you see one thing very clearly. If you compare the positive return, right, they are all a lot more than the negative return. And the duration of bull run is 3 to 9 years compared to 1 to 3 years. What does that mean? It means the insight is smaller magnitude of loss, greater magnitude of gain, right? Shorter duration of loss, because the number of years are shorter, greater duration of gain. It means the insight is, so long we buy prudently, we must buy with holding power of at least 3 years. Then we will be able to ride the volatility. So if I deep dive into the D15 and RCR projects, looking at all the peak, that means if I were to sieve out all the peak timing, the peak year, peak 2, peak 3, peak 4, remember? There's a peak, right? So during at that peak, right, what happened is the D15, Pepper Bay, Seafront, 70 St. Patrick, Meyer Mansion, these are all the D15. The green color are all the RCR project, Blossomville, Dover Park. Why RCR? Because MEYER Blue is also a RCR. Okay, so if I were to choose all the case studies during the peak year, that means launch at the peak year, very peak year, to show you the insight, let's take a look at the graph. Okay, you realize one important insight. For each successive D15 launches, right, it is launched at a higher per square foot. Take a look here. Not we say, but the statistics. Let's take a look at Pepper Bay. So for someone who lose the boat, thinking that Pepper Bay was selling very expensively because it's during a peak year, 782 per square foot during that point in its peak. If the person were to miss this, right, the next peak, right, is the seafront of Meyer. He will have to enter at 1609. And if the person still miss it, because it feel peak, the next peak is 1620. And bear us, this is not even sea view, it's a low rise 70 St. Patrick. And last but not least, 2707. Okay, this is to show you the peak. The next peak is always higher than the previous peak. It is the big picture. It is a big picture that guided me a lot in my own property investment. Meaning, my wife and myself, we try not to time the market. We try to make sure that if I fulfill 7, 8 ticks, my needs, okay, the lifestyle, the configuration, okay, freehold, go in already, but must buy prudently. So this is the D15 case studies, all right? D15 case studies. How about the RCR? Using the same RCR launches as the case studies, it yield consistent result. You see here? At this per square foot, 1007,720. The next peak year is 1461,909. The next peak year, Echelon and Alex Residences, 1617. And this is 1923. Money, yes, is getting smaller because it's eaten up by inflation. But property is the way to hedge against inflation. So, is now the right time to buy? So long you got prudent in mind, 3 years and above, fulfill all the ticks. Will there be upside potential? Will there be high risk? The answer is, so long you are able to hold for at least 3 years, the data suggests it is going to be prudent buy. All right. And of course, factoring many other factors that you can. And last but not least, thank you so much for all the attendees. Is this the right pricing strategy for MEYER Blue? Let's take a look. MEYER Blue, if you are the developer, all right, you know the developer will be pricing attractively based on the case studies earlier on, okay, for all the pricing that they had for the projects, earlier factors. Let's take a look at the surrounding. Live at MB 99-year lease already achieved 2009. The Continuum freehold already achieved 3000. Amber Park already achieved 3085. Meyer House, low rise, already achieved. Achieved means already transacted 3124. Meyer Mansion already transacted 3293. And Diamond, 99-year lease, already achieved 2904. Question. All right. What is considered an attractive preview price? Must be reasonable. Bear in mind, these are all these projects that you see, the achieved price are all older than MEYER Blue. MEYER Blue will be the most brand new unit with the attributes of the many factors that you see: award-winning developer, masterpiece, sea facing unit, MBS facing unit, and also the landed view units. Looking at this already achieved price for the oldest project, what is considered a attractive, reasonable pricing to you? Not a trick question, okay? Not a trick question, okay? You may type what would be considered. Okay, if you are the developer, would you be selling cheaper than the achieved price, knowing that you are one majestic tower, perfect attributes towards the sea views as well as the landed views? Reasonable. Okay, if you are the developer, if you are the staff, okay, of the developer helping the CEO, what would be your pricing strategy? How would you answer to the CEO to hit a good balance of attractive pricing, and at the same time, making sure that factor in the market? What would be a good pricing to you? Think about it. So this will be a good gauge. So you ask, currently the official price is not out yet, but it's a very good gauge by looking at this summary table here. Because the already low rise, not the sea facing unit, already achieving 3,124 per square foot. This is MEYER house, a 4-story unit, a 5-story unit. This is on the 4th floor that's being transacted. Okay, and the MEYER mentioned already hitting 3,293. So this will give you a sense, okay? When the official price is out, the agents, the trusted advisor who invited you here will also be immediately updating you. But chances is high, if the history repeats itself, based on the case studies, all right, the pricing that UOL and Singland usually price will be pricing it attractively during the preview. If the history repeats itself, all right? And of course, these are the homework. The live at MB, the highest achieved price is 2009, 2909, all right? And Grand Diamond, 2904. The Continuum, 3016 per square foot. 3293, MEYER mentioned. Amber Park, 3085. And these are the achieved price in a nutshell. MEYER House, that is transacted in January 2024. All right. Amber Park transacted in 2023 October, 3085. And these are the highest already achieved price in the nearby developments. All right. In the nearby developments, all happen to be freehold. So this will give you a good gauge for MEYER Blue. And thank you so much for your time. Okay, I hope today's 16 compelling reasons why MEYER Blue is the right choice based on the latest updated statistic, as well as the 3 bonus points that you had with us regarding the developer pricing strategy. Is this the right time to buy? The mega picture, the insights that we want to share with you, and the right pricing strategy by knowing very clearly what the surrounding prices are already achieved. And I wish every one of you a very good holiday today, and a good evening. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll pass the mic back to, for the interest of time, I'll pass the mic back to Thaddeus. Thank you so much for your time. Thaddeus, back to you.
Thank you, Ryner, for sharing your expertise. We also appreciate our attendees for your participation and engagement. Stay connected with our ERA Trusted Advisor. We look forward to seeing you at the preview of MEYER Blue. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for being part of this session. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.